If you're not a big Missouri fan, you can now start watching them. The season starts because they played only home games. I think Mizzou plays 5 of their next 7 games on the road, Danny, and it starts at Texas A&M. Not this Saturday, but next the one after that. We get into October. Let's see how good they are when they play at A&M. I cannot wait for that game to help me define, should we be positive, super positive, or a little questioning of the Missouri Tigers?
Well, it's probably a mixed bag for Kansas State, so we'll finish with that. But Kansas, you can't find positives really for them. They lost again. They frittered away a game late. I guess if you wanted to be glass half full, you'd say that they easily could have won the games that they've lost, easily. But they didn't win any of them. Jalen Daniels didn't step forward and make much progress. He was mediocre at best in this game, and just wasn't a good week again. And now they face a game they really have to win and should win against TCU, but they're in peril right now.
Yes, and the good news is, are they more in peril than TCU is, who got bombed by SMU? Bombed early. So both teams come in with no self-confidence into a neutral site game, and I'm going to call it a neutral site game, Danny, because I don't think Kansas has a home field advantage after the 3 losses. Not against the fans or anything. Arrowhead's a place where Patrick Mahomes plays, okay? That's what the TCU players are going to feel like when they get there. And there are not going to be enough KU fans rocking the house to make them feel anything other than, hey, we got a neutral site game. So take away home field advantage. But both teams are reeling right now internally, wondering how they're going to have anything positive. Let's go back to KU. If I just turned on the tape, Danny, and showed you the game, and we didn't worry about the score, because a lot of times when coaches study tape or I'm studying tape, I just watch offense only, the whole game. And oftentimes you forget what the score is, Danny.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You don't know the sequencing of the game, all the things that you and I know do matter, the emotion, the crowd, anything. No, you just watch the plays. If you did that, Kansas is functioning at a pretty high level. They are not getting gashed on the defensive side. That has been a problem for KU football in the Big 12 era, even into the Lance Leipold winning, was the defense wasn't quite up to par. Well, they're not getting gashed. Nothing's easy. The cornerbacks are good. The big guys up front are doing okay. They're making it hard, and it's not a super high-scoring game. That should be a positive, but not finding a way to win overwhelms everything else. And then you start looking at the black cat theory or something that, how did the muff punt at Illinois end up being a touchback for Illinois rather than a touchdown for KU? How did the fumble against UNLV not end up in all the KU guys' hands that had a chance to get it and goes back to UNLV? And then you go into this ball game and you get a weather delay,
right?
And you get a reset by West Virginia, and they make a couple plays, and suddenly you're a team that just lost an 11-point lead when you were better than West Virginia. And you've made mistakes. You don't find a way to win. And here's the big bad one. Danny, I think every year is a new year. You think, I always say to you, that momentum builds early in the year. That's what creates a team that can be really good. And here's my big one for KU. If you beat Lindenwood and that's your only win, you did not win a game. Okay? I don't care what the schedule said. Deep in the hearts of those KU players, they don't think of that as a win. There's no positiveness. So where do you go to find purpose? Because last week they had the advantage of the reset button. New college football playoff rules. Conference matters only. KU has a pretty reasonable conference schedule compared to some other teams. All they had to do was go fight and win at West Virginia. Hard duty, but they're up by 11. Didn't make the mistake at halftime. It was all right there for them, and they dumped it again. So, this is hard duty. I don't know who's in more trouble, but the loser of this game, Danny, I can't imagine how awful TCU or KU is going to feel, whoever loses in Arrowhead. It's all about the negativity in this game.
It is, and Kansas is only a 2-point favorite despite the misery of TCU. Well, I was expecting a great ball game, but I wasn't expecting misery for Kansas State. They come out, they have a couple of long drives, but they only end in field goals. And after that, their offense wasn't very good, and nothing was very good.
Well, I mentioned Bill Belichick, the middle 8 he talks about being very, very important, the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. I am a big believer in setting the tone in the third quarter right off the bat. Even if you're behind by double digits, you come out, Danny, and you get to work right at the start of the third quarter, and it just seems so valuable. The momentum of the late part of the game, and maybe because everyone's a little tired, you know all the tricks, you know what the strategies are going to be. Whatever it is so important. And K-State missed that opportunity. They failed right before the half. If you would have been able to stay up long enough, it was a 9:30 kickoff. So if you could wait almost to halftime, K-State did not score touchdowns in the red zone, a little like the Chiefs. Missed opportunity, probably cost them the game. If you want to just get simple about it, if K-State would have led 14-0 instead of 6-0 after their first two possessions, I think they would have won the game, and turnovers wouldn't have mattered. But it was a good game, 6-0, then 6-3, and we got 2 minutes left in the first half. K-State's up 6-3. They're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. If you ran 3 times in the middle and finished off the half like you used to in the old days, Danny, you go, this is going to be a great game for those who are watching. But K-State has DJ Giddens fumble. It squirts right to a place where BYU players scoop it, score a touchdown. Then they throw a screen pass into a zone blitz and throw it accidentally over the running back's head right to where the defensive tackle was, and BYU scores again. So now you go in 11 points down when it probably should have been 6-3, and you were the better team. How are you going to handle that adversity? Well, you could sit in the K-State radio booth like I was, Danny, and go, this does not feel good, and this team, BYU, is good. They've not allowed anybody to score more than 15 points this year. The red zone defense is tough, but K-State came back from 10 against Tulane. All you got to do is just reset that third quarter, and what do the Cats do? Come out and turn it over immediately.
Right.
Then you add on the craziest punt return maybe we've ever seen. Most people were probably asleep. I don't know. Did that get into the ESPN's top 10?
I didn't see the top 10 this weekend, so I don't know.
So I'll just tell people real quickly. K-State punted the football, and they got a hold of it. So the punt returner is kind of angling back like an outfielder in baseball at a 45-degree angle, and the ball's kind of over his head, but he goes ahead and tries to catch it, which he shouldn't have.
Right.
But he puts his hands out, and the ball goes right through his hands as if he didn't touch it. But it is a live ball ahead of him, bouncing toward his own end zone. This is not good because there are 4 K-Staters running downfield who are there, and if he doesn't scoop it cleanly, they're going to get a fumble, and K-State's going to have the ball inside the 10-yard line, Danny. You talk about a boost of energy. So he finally, with a nice bounce, grabs it at the 10. And if he was looking at his end zone, he's not right now. He's looking at the wrong end zone when he grabs the ball, but he's on the right side of the field, we'll call it. So when he grabs it, he's running full speed. He doesn't just slide down. He starts running. He turns to his right and heads across the field. He's over by the sideline or the numbers. He heads across the field, and he retreats. He grabbed it at the 10, but he ran back to the 3. He's running a circular pattern. Now he's going to get tackled back there. At least he didn't have a fumble. But they don't quite get to him, and he keeps circling, and by the time he gets to the other side of the field, he's only at about the 10-yard line, and all of the K-Staters who missed him have no chance of getting him, and he gets a little wall. Yes, he took it back for a official 90-yard touchdown punt return. He ran, I think they're saying, 136 yards, Danny, for this touchdown. And I think he threw up at the end, is what BYU's announcers told me. So after the celebration, but anyway, when that stuff happens, you just go, what the heck? But guess what? What the heck turns into one of the most challenging games on K-State's schedule this year, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State lost to Utah at home. That's a damaging loss, a gut punch, pulled their quarterback. The running game's not working, even though they have one of the most highly touted running backs in the country in their backfield. This sounds a little bit like TCU and KU.
Right.
Neither team feels real good about themselves going into the 11 o'clock kick on Saturday, and the loser of this game is going to be looking in the mirror at 0-2. They did not think that was a possibility. So this is tough duty. Yep. The winner's going to feel really good because if you're OSU and you play Utah and K-State, that's the hardest schedule that any Big 12 team could have, and you go 1-1, and you know how Mike Gundy's team improves throughout the year, you can feel pretty good about yourself. We're 1-1. Sure, we lost to Utah, but we'll play them in the Big 12 championship game. Here we go. We beat K-State on the road. You'll feel great. What happens if K-State wins? K-State wins, and they go, we've lost before early in the year. Yeah, we lost to BYU. We lost the tiebreaker to them, but BYU has a hard schedule, Danny. They're unlikely to make it to the Big 12 championship game. So that game isn't going to kill you, and you can get back to work, and you get a week off after the Oklahoma State game. And you look at the rest of the schedule. If K-State beats Oklahoma State, Danny, they may roll on to be an 8-1 football team. It's right there for them if they could catch a little bit of momentum. Can you go to West Virginia and win? Can you go to Colorado and win?
Right.
Can you beat Kansas at home? Yeah, these are doable things. But, hey, if you're 0-2, how could you possibly think positively? Big game for a weird reason. Both these teams are very good at bouncing back. So I think the week before's game will probably be flushed better by these two programs. But, man, these games are always just so close, so hard. A lot at stake, Danny, for K-State versus OSU. And the loser's going to be asking every question you can imagine, from quarterback on through everything. Everything's on the table if you start 0-2 because both OSU and K-State thought that they were playing this year to go to the college football playoff and to win a Big 12 championship. So it's still in their view plane. But, man, this is going to be tough, whoever loses the game on Saturday.
Stan, great stuff as always. We appreciate the time. I will be away from College Game Day this weekend, so you and Todd have a good time, and we'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, hey, have a great time. See you.
All right, we've got baseball and a whole lot more coming up. The news isn't that great there either, but the Royals still have opportunities. We'll hear from Matt Quattoro, and we'll talk a little bit of soccer and golf. That's all wrapping things up on Monday Musings, Danny and Friends Sports Wrap. Presented by ASFCA. It continues next.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
It's always a pleasure to catch up with Dr. Brad Woodle from Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture, 8 locations all around Kansas City, the latest in Raytown. Pick out the one that's most convenient for you and pick it out this fall. If you've got a young athlete who needs a little bit of treatment or tender, loving care, injuries can happen, little strains can happen, and Dr. Woodle, you can help them out.
We take care of athletes both in prevention and in those injuries. Things happen, but the most exciting thing is we can take care of almost anything that deals with bones, muscles, joints. Whether it's a sprain, strain, or a concussion, we can take care of that athlete.
That you can at all the locations around Kansas City, and you can get that treatment, your own treatment, all the treatments you want to make you feel better, body, mind, and spirit at Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. Visit asfca.com/Danny. That's asfca.com/Danny.
Enjoy all the excitement of football season at the 23rd Street Brewery. From the Jayhawks and college football to the NFL and even live-streamed Lawrence High and Free State football games, you can watch it all at the 23rd Street Brewery. Enjoy the games with your favorite menu item like the Bill Self Mac and Cheese, Naked Nachos, or the Haney Turkey Stack. And wash it all down with your favorite beer like a Wave the Wheat or Crimson Fog. 23rd Street Brewery on the corner of Clinton Parkway and Cassold in Lawrence.
If you'd like to join these and other fine sponsors and market your business on Kansas City's #1 rated podcast, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. Well, it was a deep football dive, as always, with Stan. That was fun. Let's talk, I don't know if it's going to be fun, but let's talk about the Kansas City Royals now. Hey, it's still in front of them. They are basically tied with the Tigers and almost tied with the Twins and just barely ahead of the Mariners. 6 games remaining, all on the road. Unfortunately, the Twins and the Tigers are at home. And what has happened to cause this? The Royals have lost 7 straight games. They are 7-16 in their last 23. By the way, the Twins are 11-22 in their last 33 games, so not very good there either. But we still have opportunity for the Royals, but it's been bad. And all the things that had been going well before, well, not all of them. Their pitching's still been good. Sunday's game, I was out at the K. Wasn't a very nice day. The crowd was there hoping for a victory to put a tourniquet on things. It didn't happen, even though Seth Lugo pitched an excellent game. And the Royals now have lost 7 straight. Their offense is completely gone in the tank. They haven't scored runs. They're once mighty runners in scoring position totals, 184 over their last 29 games. That despite the fact that Bobby Witt has just been out of this world. He finishes the home season with a 382 home batting average. But It's Washington, then it's Atlanta. Maybe they'll catch a break and Atlanta will be eliminated by them. Washington isn't very good.